So we are just in the case Puma that we cleaned off in the last video, and we are driving up to pull off the two Fendt tractors that just arrived on the truck today. We are having to pull these off because it is a minus 30 degree day. It's been minus 30 degrees for the last 2 or 3 days now. As you can see, all that exhaust pouring out. We are going to have to pull these off because they will not start. This is my first time doing this, so we will see kind of how it goes. We're just pulling right up to the loading dock right now with this Puma. And why we are using this case Puma is because it is the only tractor that we had that was sitting inside. So the only one that was warm enough to start on a cold day like this, and that's why we're kind of using it. If I can get the hang of driving this thing. This is some deep snow that we're in right now. I'm gonna leave it right here and jump out and do some talking. So we just grabbed the toolbox off of this Fendt 700 right on the side here, because this tractor has air brakes, so we had to grab a glad hand from it with an air chuck to hook onto the glad hand of the tractor to put a little bit more air into this thing, so we are able to disengage the parking brakes and pull this tractor off. Since this 500 series doesn't have the air brakes, we do not need to do that with it. We can just make sure it's in neutral and turn off the parking brake and drag it right off. But a little bit of a different story for that 700 series. Oh, it's sure nice and warm in here compared to out there, but the truck driver's just backing up and getting straight on the loading dock, and then I'm gonna back this tractor up and hopefully we pull it off successfully. One thing we didn't think about is the front end loaders are all the way down in transport, so we will have to figure out how to get those. The front or the back one might just slide off easy, but the front one's on the front half of the trailer, so I guess we'll see how that thing goes. So in this Fendt tractor, we got to get into neutral just by turning on the key and making sure that neutral button is lit up. If it wasn't lit up, either the tractor management system or that one would be lit up, I believe, but it is in neutral, so we can see about pulling it off. So we tried pulling that first Fendt off, and it was, the front end loader was dragging on the trailer, and the trucker didn't really like that, and he said no. So we're gonna try and find a spot in the shop for him to back that trailer in, let it sit for couple hours or something, and then try and get those tractors to turn over and start up. But with weather like this, when it's this cold, diesel equipment, it doesn't really fire up too well. Even gas engines, you got to have that engine heater, your block heater turned on, and all that stuff for it to be successful. So I'm just gonna pull this case around, probably put it back in the shop because we still need to get the inside detailed. So now I'm just in the service body, and I'm gonna park that inside. This was in the big shop, and we need to clear out room for that trailer. So I'll back this thing into this shop and move this tractor out of the way. So we actually ended up just pulling that Puma back in this bay, the stall where it was, and I'm going to back this service body up into the one garage in the automotive garage. So there are the tractors over there. We gotta move a couple things still. The one gleaner combine that's in there, we need to move that thing forward, and hopefully we will be able to fit those tractors in there. Kind of a pain in the butt, but I guess what are you gonna do? So we'll get it all straightened out and then get those tractors off. Block heater cord is on. Same with on the 700.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So we just backed off the trailer. We are in the 724 Fendt, and the 516 is right there. I just backed that off a couple minutes ago, and I was wrong. The TMS light could be on, and the neutral light could be also. So right now we are in gear, so the neutral light is turned off, and the air brakes are also off. We didn't have to use the glad hands or that glad hand adapter or anything because the trucker didn't want the front end loader scraping on his trailer there. So we ended up just bringing the whole semi and everything in and getting it all switched around. So that adapter we didn't have to use, but we're just gonna be pulling our fence into the shop so it can start getting washed off. Lower down that front end loader. So we just brought in the 2 Fendt tractors. We just brought them in, and before they come off the truck, we have to go through them and actually inspect them and make sure that there's no rips or anything in the tires, make sure that all the PTO stub shafts, everything is with the tractor. We pretty much have to go through and give a quick inspection saying that that tractor is arrived how it was supposed to and that it didn't get damaged on transport. So it was actually nice in a sense with the tractors being inside. We were able to do this in the warm, but we went through and we couldn't see anything wrong, so we signed it and the tractors are now ours. So it is the end of the day now. The tractors are inside and they are nice and warm. Here is the glad hand adapter that I was talking about for the 700. So just like on any semi, they have the glad hands where the air hooks up to the trailer, and this adapter will go on and you can put a chuck in there, or you need a different adapter also to get into there, but you're able to go into there with an air hose line and fill up your air compressor on these tractors, which is really handy if the battery's dead and you need to move the tractor. You use this adapter and you can fill it up, release the parking brakes, and pull it and drag it around. Luckily we didn't have to use that because they warmed right up and were able to start. I didn't really walk around too much when it was in the shop, but essentially what we were doing was hooking in the block heater cords into both of them while he was backed in. That way warm up the rest of the tractor a little bit faster. And then on the other side we also had the batteries hooked up, getting charged. That way these tractors there was no way they weren't going to start. So we wanted to make sure so then that guy could get on the road again, and he had another load to pick up today. So, but here they are. They are sure dirty. Holy man, they need a wash. These tractors, they also come with like a sort of a wax film over top of them. So even if I rub it off, it's not that shiny. It's kind of that matte because there's a wax film on these. So no road salt or anything gets into them and starts rusting when they're getting shipped over. So that is a nice thing, but it is a pain in the butt to clean off because you have to a certain chemical, and I think you have to scrub and do all that. So these tractors are sitting all dirty. They'll get washed off tomorrow at some point, and then that film or that waxy coating will have to get washed off after that. But there they are, and they are sure looking good. I really like the way this 700 looks with the tire setup on here. It looks really big, mean, and aggressive. These are 500s, Trailborgs. A really aggressive, good-looking tire. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was something I've never done really before. I haven't really looked too much into unloading trucks like that when it's brand new equipment that arrived. So that was a really fun thing to do, and any chance I get around these Fendts to be around them and run them, I enjoy it because they are such a dream to drive. So that is it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button down below, and we will see you in the next video.